ever 3 points away at Woking, who have turned a little bit of a corner themselves in recent weeks under Michael Doyle. 2 wins from 3. They beat Oxford City, bottom of the table here last time out. That was just their 3rd home win of the campaign. Kevin Phillips in the dugout looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce for the first time since August. Pools unchanged from that win against Bromley. So as they were with Joe Dixon in goal, the back four of Luke Hendry, Luke Waterfall, Tom Parks and David Ferguson, the 2 defensive midfielders of captain Nicky Featherstone and Tom Crawford, with Courtney Senior, Callum Cook and Joe Gray supplying Manny Desirue up front, who's looking for his 7th goal in his 7th game. He is in the form of his life. Woking looking to build up from the halfway line, and down goes Lewis Walker. So there's a free kick to the home side early on. Kevin Phillips out in his technical area already, arms folded, watching on as Max Deitch takes this free kick shot out to the right hand side as Woking attack from left to right, pulls in their away kit. Deitch skipping infield, looks to hit a diagonal ball into the penalty area. Waterfall gets underneath it, can't complete the clearance, comes to the back post. The shot is snatched at by Ricky Corboa and is pulled wide of the mark. It remains Woking nil, Hartlepool United nil on BBC Radio Tees Sport. We're on 95 FM, DAB digital radio, Freeview 722. We are also available on BBC Sounds. So thank you for listening, however you are listening to us this evening, off the back of Middlesbrough's defeat in the Championship against Bristol City. All the post-match reaction to that one, Borough fans, available on our X feed at BBC Tees Sport, formerly Twitter. Punch that in there and you'll find all your post-match interviews. As Woking crossing to the penalty area that Pools have to be mindful of, and they do. They get it away with Waterfall. And Pools trying to gather the loose ball 25 yards out. Comes out to this right-hand side for Kelly Evans. Gets his cross away only as far as Ferguson, who can boom the clearance up towards Manny Desirue. Just out of reach of him. And Joe Gray clears down the line to this near side. Rowan Ince manages to get his foot on the ball. Gray dispossesses him. Featherstone keeps hold of the ball as he does so well. And then Ferguson again launches it long and deep into the Woking half of play to be collected by Alexis Andre Jr., the Frenchman, ex-Dover keeper, between the sticks this evening for Woking. All the way back to Joel Dixon, away to our right-hand side, dressed all in yellow. The floodlights beaming down onto the pitch. And a beautiful sunset earlier on when I arrived at the ground. The evening kickoff in the National League. The cameras focused, the crowd poised and eager. Woking in desperate need to build their own form under new boss Michael Doyle. Hartlepool United just as eager to continue their fine form under new head coach Kevin Phillips, who really has made an impact since arriving. Just seems to have completely lifted the place and the players. Speaking to Brennan Dickinson in midweek, who spoke of his excitement of working alongside the former Sunderland striker. And Pools with a goal kick. Dixon to take it. Pools have struggled to really get their foot on the ball in the last few moments, but the goal kick goes all the way through to Courtney Senior, who trips over the ball inside the box. Well, he should have done so much better with that, Senior. He did so well to use his pace to get away from his markers, and in a vital moment just stood on top of the ball. Pools in possession with Ferguson, looks down the line. It's going to drop out of play for a Woking throw. And Michael Doyle is straight out of his technical area and telling his defence to pay more attention to the runs from deep by Courtney Senior, on loan from Barnet. Desperate to make a big impression and almost had the perfect opportunity, straight from a goal kick. Throwing to the home side. Ferguson fights for it. Can't keep hold of it. And a switch ball from right to left by Lewis Walker. Josh Casey, the captain, runs onto it. Looks to deliver a low ball in the area, but Pool's able to clear as far as Cook outside of his boot. A beautiful ball out to this near side for Joe Gray across the halfway line. He keeps it in, picks out Cook once again, who continued the run. Great work from him. Desiree calling for it, edge of the area. Senior is following in out to the right hand side now for Hendry, and now Crawford. David Ferguson calling for it on this near side. Crawford instead picks out Cook, looking for the overlapping run of Ferguson, who arrives to deliver into the box, headed away by Deitch, plucked out the air by Crawford. Heavy touch, but manages to gather it once more and face goalwards. This is good sustained pressure from Pools. Featherstone in possession with that red captain's armband strapped around his left bicep. Featherstone sprays the ball out to the right-hand side. That is a good ball. The delivery needs to be just as good. It goes to the front post and headed away by Max Deitch. Only as far as Cook, but the ball cleared further to Featherstone, who goes all the way back to Luke Hendry, and then Tom Parks is the outlet, the deepest lying defender in the Pools half of play. 5 minutes gone. Woking 0. Hartlepool United 0 in this National League fixture. Both teams with half chances early on. Ricky Corboa with a flash shot wide of the mark at the back post early on. And then from a goal kick, Joel Dixon over the top of everybody, and it fell into the path of Courtney Senior, who accelerated onto it inside the box and then tripped over the ball at the vital moment. Nice little touch from Desirue. Uses his strength to keep hold of it. Lays it off to Cook. He's got runners in front of him and to the left. He's got Joe Gray or Ferguson. He lays it into the path of Ferguson. Delivers low and buried home. Joe Gray. Another one. Ice cold. Joe Gray. 7 for the campaign. The work was done by Pools in the build-up. Desirue into Cook, who picked out the run of Ferguson, latched onto it, low ball inside the area, and Joe Gray able to bury from inside the 6-yard box. Woking 0, Hartlepool United 1. Well, that, 7 minutes in, is exactly the start that Kevin Phillips and Hartlepool United would have wanted, and I'm sure you listening at home would have been hoping for as well. It's certainly what the travelling Poolies over on the far side were desperate for. Can see the flags being held proudly up in the air by the travelling Poolies as a good showing, as there always is. Can see the blue and white scarves from those watching on, and Pools have the lead inside 7 minutes. Joe Gray having his best season of his career. His first goal that in 5 games. And he wins it inside the Pools half of play. Gray pulling up to the base of the centre circle. Needs an option out on the right-hand side and finds Luke Hendry. Now Crawford. Back to Waterfall. Well, the assist for that goal goes down for David Ferguson, who has been in for some stick this season, but it would seem he's back to his best, getting assists to his name, affecting the game, those quality balls into the box which cause nightmares for defenders. And Joe Gray with a fine one-touch finish, and he turns his marker on the halfway line, gets past Rowan Ince, looks to drive forward, tries to go between two Woking shirts, but is brought down as Ferguson wins it, and the ball rebounds off the face of Joe Gray. The pair share a wry smile across their faces as Joe Gray just takes one on the chin there. Woking on the attack, but Tom Parks does ever so well to just read that play and give it back to his goalkeeper in Dixon, who will complete the clearance. And the ball dropping inside the centre circle. Ferguson out on this near side, looking for the runners forward. Desirue is always willing, but skips up off the turf and straight into the arms of Andre Jr., the opposition goalkeeper. Well, Pools looking for 3 wins on the bounce if they could see this out. It's only 10 minutes in, so not getting carried away by any stretch with walking on the tack. Dion Kelly-Evans across into the penalty area, headed away by Pools. Crawford helps in on its way. Max Deitch tries to find a header to a teammate, but instead gives it away. Now Senior. And Pools clear up to the halfway line. Desirue did well to just lose his marker momentarily, but the ball swept back to the walking keeper by Scott Cuthbert. So good start. 10 minutes in, Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1 if you're just joining us on BBC Radio T Sport. Joe Gray latching on to the end of a low David Ferguson cross after some good work from Desirue and Callum Cook in the build-up. Courtney Senior now stretching the play out on the right-hand side, tries to brush and burst past his man, but he's just seen off and overruns it out for a goal kick. And that draws Michael Doyle out in front of us to come and ask for more from Kelly-Evans on this near side from a walking perspective. Well, so far, so good for Hartlepool United then. 1-0 up. Here in Surrey. Max Deitch in possession for Walking. Forward ball. Tom Parks does well to just outmuscle his man, but Walking come away with it with Kelly-Evans, and now further on the right-hand side, Jaden Luca, but Luca sees a ball rebound out for a throw. Walking take it quickly, but Ferguson does well to just stand his ground, and then he's robbed in possession. It falls to Rowan Ince. Now Kelly-Evans looks to whip one with his left foot, but it's blocked by Featherstone. Cook tries to win the second ball, but Ince gets underneath it, as does Kelly-Evans. And now Ferguson in a foot race with Kelly-Evans, but the ball out for a goal kick. The smattering of applause you can hear in the background is from the travelling Poolies over on the far side. Kevin Phillips just passing on some instruction to Joe Gray. Playing on the left of a forward 3 this evening, Joe Gray. The 3 being Gray, Cook and Senior, with Desirue leading the line, and he wins the flick on from that goal kick, but all the way through into the arms of Alexis Andre Jr. Walking in possession, at the base of the defence, and it's all gone quiet in the snug. The home fans have been silenced after that early goal from Joe Gray, but they're trying to burst into life here. Brilliant sliding tackle from Luke Waterfall, but he might get a second chance at it as Walking put a low ball into the area from Denon Lewis, but it's cleared by Pools. Switch ball to Kelly Davies. Oh, he goes past Joe Gray with ease, but then doesn't pass Tom Parks, who stood his ground, absolutely clattered his man, and the home side think that they should have had a free kick there. Instead, it's a free kick to Hartlepool United. Michael Doyle certainly thought he should have had a free kick. He was almost on the pitch there, but not to be. Joel Dixon comes out of his goal to take this free kick. 13 minutes in, Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1, thanks to a David Ferguson cross and a Joe Gray finish. It really was a good finish from the 20-year-old. As Parks gets underneath this one. Walking have it at the base of their defence. They've given it straight away to Crawford. Cook tries to help it on its way and just on a different wavelength to Luke Hendry, but Featherstone comes back, collects the ball and gifts it to his goalkeeper. He does that so well, doesn't he, Nicky Featherstone? Just looks after the ball. Whenever Pools lose possession, he's always there to try and mop it back up again as he did there. Pools in possession on the edge of their own penalty area with Tom Parks. Now Ferguson looks to make inroads across the halfway line, clips it into the path of Desirue, left-hand side of the penalty area, right at the byline, but the offside flag is up. And that chance comes to nothing, with Pools still leading by a goal to nil. If you want to get in touch with us this evening, then at BBC Tees Sport is where we are on X. You can get me personally on at RobLawTees. As well, if you want to send me your observations, you can all be my summariser this evening in Surrey. As the ball goes out over on the far side for a throw-in. I would love to see that Pools goal again, because it looked like such a deft little flick from Gray to wrong foot the goalkeeper. As Woking on the attack with Corboa into the area, goes over the top of Ferguson and all the way out for a goal kick. Being told in my headphones, in my ear, that it was a great flick with a hint of offside. I mean, you'd take that on the menu, wouldn't you, if you're a Hartlepool United fan? There's Callum Cook asking a lot of Joel Dixon there. Had to just sprint about 10 yards across the face of goal to get on the end of that ball. Gives it to Waterfall, who looks for the diagonal ball up towards Desirue. Does really well to just catch it in his chest, but overplayed and overrun. And now Woking look to counter with Kelly Evans on this right-hand side. He's being watched by Joe Gray, who does really well to get across his man. The work rate of Joe Gray on this near side in this first half already has just been boundless. Boundless energy from the young forward. He's in the thick of it. He's getting forward, but he's not giving up his defensive duties either. Really impressive so far from Joe Gray, and a goal to match. Pools in possession with Ferguson approaching the halfway line on this near side, right in front of the two dugouts. Can see the white name and number on the back of his shirt down in front of us. Pools in that away kit, the teal and navy stripes with the white shorts and the navy socks. Teal is the colour we're going for, I think. Diagonal ball for Woking, headed away by Ferguson. Gray there just to sweep up the danger, and then actually hits it out for a Woking throw just short of the Pools corner flag away to our right hand side. Woking looking for the short option. Comes back to Kelly Evans, twisting and turning. Ince, and the offside flag is up because Jaden Luca had strayed offside. So it's a free kick to Pools, deep inside their own half, just left of the Pools penalty area. Manny Desirue and David Ferguson in conversation while we wait for this free kick to be taken. Luke Waterfall is the voice you can hear on the effects mic there, barking out instructions, just organising the back line. Desirue wins the ball from the free kick and then is fouled, is he? No, says the referee. And Woking look to try and counter quickly with a crossfield ball, but Luke Hendry does well to read the danger. Gives it all the way back to Joel Dixon with Denon Lewis chasing him down. But Pools dealt with that really well. Ricky Corboa, always liked him when I've seen him. Very quick on the ball, quick thinker as well. As Pools win it on the halfway line with Cook. Corboa, the ex-Northampton man, played League 1 with them, League 2 with Sutton United. His second season at the club, he's got 4 goals so far this season as the 27-year-old. Pools on the attack down the right-hand side. Hendry tries to find Callum Cook, but just too much on that. It's cleared straight out to Crawford, who does well to find Featherstone inside the centre circle. Now Ferguson with space in which to attack down the left. Stops the ball dead. Infield it goes to Featherstone. Just a little pivot on the ball there from the Pools captain. Back to Ferguson. Points the way forward for his striker. And it's cleared by Walking, only as far as Hendry. Good, consistent pressure from Pools as Crawford does very well to turn away from Corboa. Leaves him for dead. Now Parks to Ferguson again on this near side. Looking for the runner Joe Gray. Headed away by Walking. Pools just trying to up the tempo and just turn the screw a little bit in these last few moments. And they are so hungry out of possession. Whenever they lose the ball, they're hunting for it back. And Pools win a free kick, a handball there over on the left-hand side from the Walking man. So Pools with a free kick just short of the halfway line. 20 minutes in, Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1 on BBC Radio T Sport this evening in the late kick-off. It follows Middlesbrough losing against Bristol City in the Championship earlier today. This is our second commentary of the day on your BBC Radio T Sport. Walking, looking for a hopeful ball over the top that goes all the way through to Joel Dixon. And just hear a few moans and groans early from the home fans, starting to get frustrated because Pools are dominating possession and they lead. Luke Hendry back to the halfway line for Crawford, assesses his options. Pretty much every red and white shirt of Walking behind the ball. Parks into Featherstone, just 2 touches, and then back to Luke Waterfall. Now Featherstone spreads it back to Waterfall. Pools so comfortable at present. Now Cook looks to quicken the pace a little bit. Featherstone out to Ferguson. 1-touch pass into Desirue. Controlled it on his thigh, and he's just gesturing Desirue there to Ferguson. Thanks for putting me in, but you need to keep it a little bit lower. And Ferguson gives him the nod. He's the former Pools captain to take the throw-in. Cook to his right, Joe Gray to his left. He goes to his right for Cook. Picked up by Featherstone, and Ricky Corboa comes across to run the ball out of play for a throw. So if you're just joining us on BBC Radio T Sport this evening, Pools leading by a goal to 0. It came after just 7 minutes with Joe Gray latching on to the end of a David Ferguson cross after good work by Cook and Desirue in the build-up. And Walking with the ball over the top. Joel Dixon's come a long way out to try and get there, but it was Lewis Walker who was trying to get on the end of it. Luke Waterfall did well to get across him, clear the danger. We have the first corner of the game. It goes the way of Walking with 23 minutes on the clock. It's going to be an in-swinger. Jaden Luca to take it. He goes short to Deitch. Put back into the front post, headed away by Featherstone. Kevin Phillips waving his team up the pitch as Luca looks to hit a diagonal ball, and then a high boot by Tom Crawford there. He went for the ball, he had his eyes on it, but he's caught the Walking player with his studs on the top of the head. Well, he's not going to get a yellow card, Crawford, but it is going to be a Walking free kick. And this is an inviting position for any set-piece taker. It's well left of centre. There's a 3-man Pools wall as the referee, Michael Barlow, who is not the brother of Gary, before you ask, puts the spray down onto the pitch. And we have Max Deitch stood over it. The referee blows his whistle. It is Deitch. He hits it towards the back post. Crawford clears only as far as Luca. Can't quite get his shot away. Pools might win it here and look to counter quickly, and they do. Cook running through the centre circle, needs an option, tries to find Gray, and he does. Gray's through for his second of the game. Can he finish? Oh, what a save! A big save by Andre Jr. down to his left-hand side. Joe Gray has his head in his hands. Brilliant counter-attacking football by Pools. It flowed from one end to the other. Cook was an inch-perfect pass to Joe Gray, who had the pace to beat his man, but he couldn't get the pace on the finish to beat the goalkeeper. It remains Woking 0, Pools 1, but Pools have a corner as a result. Featherstone to swing this one in. Right-footed to the front post. Desirue with the header and over the crossbar. And it remains Woking 0, Pools 1. But what an opportunity that was for Joe Gray. Put in by Cook, who again is having one of those games. One of those games. And he's had a few of those recently, hasn't he? Revealed after the Bromley game, in his words, a mistake from Luke Waterfall at the back, but Parks is able to mop up behind him. Featherstone to Parks, who leaves it for Dixon, who does complete the clearance into the Woking half of play. Yeah, Cook saying after the Bromley victory, I'll hold that thought because Pools have given it away again. Rowan Ince on the left-hand side, goes past his marker, low inside the box, and the shot goes wide. And it was Lewis Walker arriving inside the area that just pulled his shot wide of the right-hand post of Joel Dixon. And it remains Woking 0, Pools 1. But that perhaps just a little reminder for Kevin Phillips' side. Woking can get at this defence and can ask questions of Joel Dixon. But Callum Cook saying after that win over Bromley that he's been 50% the player, his words, in recent weeks because of heel trouble. He's had an ankle injury as well that he's been nursing and managing all season long. But he feels now, thanks to the work of the physio Danny O'Connor, he is back to his best, and it's showing. Hendry into the area for Senior, and then Joe Gray, Desirue sliding in, can't meet it, and it trickles agonisingly wide and out for a goal kick. But Pools are opening up Woking at will here. Whenever they get the ball, you feel that Pools are going to create a goal-scoring opportunity. 27 minutes on the clock. Pools leading in Surrey. Woking in possession. The red and white shirts, the black shorts and the white socks. Looking to build from the back with Scott Cuthbert, who is a North East man himself, born in Middlesbrough. Was Luke Waterfall. Looks to defend desperately on the edge of his own penalty area, and Tom Parks again is there to clear the danger for good measure. And it's a Woking throw. Corboa twisting, turning, trying to get away from Ferguson, and he does. Chance to deliver the cross right on top of Dixon's goal. Goes to the back post. Looked to be a handball in there, but the referee instead points for a goal kick. Well, a few nervy moments at the back from Luke Waterfall in the last 5 or 10 minutes. We haven't seen that side of him since he joined from Grimsby. Usually so assured and calm at the back. But Parks has done well to just sweep up any danger as Dixon tries to find Desirue from the goal kick. Instead it falls onto the chest of Gray, the difference maker so far for Pools. Featherstone, now Ferguson, first time looking for Desirue. Rebounds wildly into the Woking box, but they're able to clear straight to Crawford. His touch gives it away to Rowan Ince, and then Ince gives it away to Hendry. Now Courtney Senior for Pools, wide on the right hand side. Crawford inside the centre circle for Featherstone. Gives it back to Crawford, who is looking to be positive. Featherstone, now Cook, who has space, looks to try and drift past one, circles back on himself, asking a lot of Hendry to try and get there, but the ball is put out into touch for a Pools throw. Luke Hendry would have done really well to get on the end of that, I would suggest. But it's a Pools throw, parallel with the Woking penalty area. On the half-hour mark, Woking 0, Pools 1. Hendry to Cook. Back to Hendry, who finds Crawford. Curls one into the area. Desirue gets in front of his marker, but Woking able to clear wide to the right-hand side. Crawford now picks up possession, and Featherstone, a good 40 yards from goal, Crawford looks to try and feed the run of Senior, drifting out to the right, but too much on it. Goes behind for a goal kick. So BBC Radio T Sport, we're on 95 FM, DAB digital radio, online via BBC Sounds and the BBC Football website, and Freeview 722. Pools in the driving seat so far, under the floodlights and in front of the cameras. Ricky Corboa dispossessed by Parks. Corboa does well to keep the move ticking though. Luca goes out to the left-hand side, walking on the attack. Pools with plenty of bodies back inside the area. The ball rebounds to the front post, and Dixon does well to smother that danger. Collapses on top of the ball for good measure. Well, Woking have, similar to Pools, have struggled to keep clean sheets this season, have suffered really defensively. They haven't scored an awful lot of goals either, as Pools have overplayed it at the back and Featherstone's put it out for a throw-in. Just get the impression that Luke Waterfall is having one of those moments in football when just everything is not going your way. Hopefully he can shake that off soon, as Crawford tries to win it. Woking give it straight away to Featherstone. Kevin Phillips pointing the way forward. Desiree gets a shove in the back, but does well to stay on his feet. Pulls with the ball deep inside their own half. Crawford picks up a rebound into Desiree, but he's still inside his own half of play. There's good work from Jaden Luca there to win possession, but Desiree has it back on the halfway line. He needs some bodies around him, and he picks out Crawford, who hits a diagonal ball straight to Ferguson, and Ferguson gets caught late there by Kelly Evans, and Ferguson has stayed down. Well, that was a late challenge, and Nicky Featherstone is making that point to the referee, Michael Barlow. It's going to be a free kick for Pools, that much is certain. And Ferguson saying to the referee, how is that not a yellow? Well, I dare say that Dion Kelly-Evans is lucky not to be in the referee's book there. But Pools has stolen about 5 yards from this free kick, it has to be said. Featherstone, right in front of us. About 5 yards in from the touchline on this near side. Featherstone to deliver, right-footed. Curls high into the night sky. Headed away by Woking. Falls to Luke Hendry. Helps it on its way to Waterfall. Edge of the box. Looks to put it into the area. Crawford with a header! Or does it cross the line? Pools think that it did. And the referee gives the goal. Tom Crawford celebrates. The Hartlepool United fans celebrate, and now the referee has given a free kick the way of Woking. The goal does not count. The referee was signalling for a free kick. Pools thought he was signalling for the goal. It does not stand. Crawford's celebrations are short-lived, and the score remains Woking 0, Hartlepool United 1. I have to be honest, it looked like it crossed the line from here, but I am about 75 yards away and some change. It looked like it snuck past the post. There was certainly plenty of appeals from the Pools players in and around the box. But it's still Woking 0, Pools 1. Should it have been 2? That is the question. The TV cameras are here. They will have the replays. We unfortunately do not. Pools with a throw-in, deep inside their own half. And it goes out for another Pools throw. Well, Crawford was adamant the ball had crossed the line, as Ferguson finds Courtney Senior, does well to pick out Cook, and then a beautiful diagonal ball out to the right-hand side for Hendry, who stops it dead, brings in Crawford, who was denied a goal a few moments ago, crossing to the area, cleared by Woking. Ferguson closing down Corboa, and is conceded a free kick, much to his frustration. Ten minutes to go until half-time. Matty Nixon will keep you company through the break. All the post-match reaction as well from Middlesbrough's defeat against Bristol City in the Championship. I'm sure that will play its part in the half-time break. But Kevin Phillips, I'm sure, his message will be that his team need to take these chances. And they may have just been denied a goal after a scramble underneath the crossbar of Andre Jr., the opposition keeper. Will they live to regret that and curse that decision? As Denon Lewis in possession for Walking, out to the left-hand side for Luca. Nice 1-2, and he gets it back inside the area. On Luca, denied by Hendry. Might get a second opportunity. A chance for Walking. Point-blank save by Dixon. Does well to stand his ground and punch it away. And again, another reminder that the home side are still firmly in this game. And a foul by Gray on Ricky Corboa. And those two go nose to nose. Joe Gray laughs off the advances of the Walking man, being told that the ball did cross the line, but it looks like that free kick may have been given for offside. Well, I'm sure the bones will continue to be picked out of that into the half-time break. But for now, Pools have a free kick to defend. Edwards floats one into the area. It's a good delivery. It bounces down inside the 6-yard box, and Dixon is able to get on the end of the shot. It was scooped up into the air. It didn't have a lot of pace or power behind it. It was a nice height for him as well. But Dixon keeps tight hold of that one. I'm trying to get the replays on my phone because I do have a login to said channel that is showing the game. But given the Wi-Fi here, it's taken this entire 38 minutes in order to log in. Thank you to the chaps working hard behind the scenes who've managed to send me a video of the goalmouth scramble. This is what teamwork looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Very appreciative of it too. Walking in possession up to the halfway line. Forward it goes, but Luke Waterfall gets a good header, good distance on the clearance and out for a Walking throw right in front of the travelling Poolies over on the far side, many of which passed on the motorway this morning by the M25. Flags out the window, flags in the windows and in the back seats of cars as well. Walking on the attack. A nice 1-2 at the byline. And it gets across to the middle of the box. The header is blocked initially, rebounds, and Featherstone clears it desperately. Desirue trying to make it stick, but he can't keep hold of it. He can't get hold of it. Neither can Pools. Walking, trying to up the tempo, trying to find an equaliser. Kelly Evans to Corboa on the byline. Back to Kelly Evans once more. Ferguson is there with him, as is Featherstone, and Ferguson blocks the cross. Out for a Walking throw, and Pools need half-time to come quick. The downside is they've got about 7 minutes left to go until the break. Curtis Edwards to Luca, being closed down by Crawford. Out to the left-hand side, Josh Casey now. Walking, looking for a deep cross, but Pools able to clear with Featherstone, but it's just a bit aimless for Pools at the minute. They're just desperate to get it away, when perhaps cooler heads would prevail. Walking in possession once more, just beyond the halfway line. Back they go to centre-back Scott Cuthbert, who started his career at Celtic, got promoted to League One with Luton back in 2018. Gives you an idea of Luton's rise through the leagues over recent seasons as Courtney Senior tries to close down a loose pass, but Luca has it for Walking. Out to the left-hand side, Crawford intercepts and Waterfall completes the clearance up to the halfway line, but Pools just can't string any passes together. They can't get hold of it at the minute. Walking dominating possession with Ince. Out to this right-hand side for Kelly Evans. Looks for a cross from deep. Comes all the way across to Hendry, who can get it away. Now Katie. Out to the left-hand side once more for Lewis. Stands his man up. Hendry is there with him. Goes back to Casey, the captain. Gets his cross into the front post and easily gathered by Joel Dixon. And he gets a signal there from Kevin Phillips, the Pools head coach, to keep hold of the ball. Try and kill any momentum that Walking are building here in these last 5 minutes or so. 5 to go until the break. Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1. Just looking at the replay of the goal, and there is a suggestion that Crawford was offside. The ball definitely crossed the line. I mean, you can see it crosses the line. I dare say Crawford might still be on though. It's the angle of the camera makes it perhaps look like Crawford is off, but I suggest if we had the benefit of the lines, it might show he was on. It was Luke Waterfall who delivered the cross. Crawford with a good header. Well, that argument will live long into the half-time break. If you have your thoughts on it, at BBCT Sport is where you'll find us, or at RobLawTees if you want to message us direct. That is where we are on X. Meanwhile, Pools have a free kick deep inside their own half. Joel Dixon coming out to take it. We've entered our first real lull in this first 45. Dixon looking for Dizaruwe, doesn't reach him. Featherstone. Cook flicked on towards Dizaruwe once more, who's fighting and scrapping for everything, but he loses out on that occasion. Oh, good endeavour and fight from Lewis Walker, who wins it and now looks to drag his team up the pitch through the centre of the field. Out to the left-hand side. This is Lewis. His cross is blocked by Hendry, and it's a Walking corner, and the home fans feel the tide has turned. Pools still lead by a goal to 0, but Walking really asking a lot of questions of Pools defensively in these last 7 minutes or so. Corner for Pools to defend. Swings right on top of Dixon. It heads down, it rebounds wildly, and Dixon is able to gather it. I think it was Scott Cuthbert who was there, who met the ball with his head. It rebounded inside the 6-yard area, and Dixon was able to just fall on top of the ball. Keep hold of it, Joel Dixon. Stretch out those seconds, my friend. He tosses the ball down on the pitch. And it goes long. Dizaruwe wins the flick on to Courtney Senior. Needs a bit of help, and it arrives in the form of Cook. Picks out Featherstone, thinks about the shot, instead gives it to Dizaruwe. Tries to find Featherstone with the return ball, but it's intercepted by the red and white shirts of Walking, and then given away to Ferguson on the halfway line. He lays it off to Featherstone, the Pools captain. To Dizaruwe. Pools just happy to keep hold of it at this point, trying to kill this first half off. Cook. They might yet kill it with a goal. Joe Gray just has his pocket picked at the vital moment, 20 yards out. And then Walking, look to try and move the ball quickly, but good work rate from, I was going to say from Crawford to win it back, but he's judged to have fouled his man and given away a free kick. Free kick to Walking. Diagonal ball to Kelly Evans. Back to Ince. Kelly Evans once more. And now Cuthbert. Walking, building, but not moving the ball quick enough at present. Pulls with everybody apart from Manny Desirue behind the ball. Ince out to this right-hand side for Kelly Evans once more. The cross is poor. It took a deflection and ends up at the feet of Featherstone, who has space to run into. 2 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. We're into it now. Crawford has the ball at his feet. Out to Hendry. Back to Crawford. Pulls inside their own half. And Walking, pressing. But they might have committed too many bodies here, and a hopeful ball forward. Almost picked out Senior once more. He's got the run on that defence. It's only happened twice, but both times he's looked comfortably faster than his opposition. And I suspect that is something that Kevin Phillips will look to exploit as we head into the second half. We've got 1 minute left to play, the 2 minutes of stoppage time. The camera's down in front of us, pointed and focused firmly on Michael Doyle in the walking dugout. There's Josh Casey. Hopeful ball forward that Waterfall is able to snuff out. A loose ball picked up by the Cardinals once more. Luca wrestling with Featherstone, and Featherstone comes out on top and wins a free kick. And that draws applause from the travelling Poolies over on the far side. That's a great showing from the Hartlepool United fans. I know I said it earlier, and I know we say it every week, but it just really is. This is no easy journey. There's certainly been a lot of long journeys recently for Pools. I think this is our third time in London in the space of 4 weeks, give or take. But 3 points in the back pocket will make the journey back up north that much sweeter and that much more comfortable for the Poolies. If Kevin Phillips' side can see it through, the half-time whistle goes. At the break, Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1. Arguments over whether it could have been 2, whether it should have been 2, after a Tom Crawford header looked to have crossed the line. Whether he was offside is open for debate. It is just the one. Walking have had their opportunities as well, asking questions of Joel Dixon, who's had to stand firm at the back end of that first 45. But Pools, when they go forward and they flood forward in numbers, they look like they could score a bucket load. Walking not out of it by a long stretch. And that first 45, barring the last five minutes or so, was fairly comfortable, I would suggest. Joe Gray with an opportunity after his run was released by Cook, who did well through the centre of the pitch to pick him out. He had the pace on his man, did Gray. One-on-one with the goalkeeper, just couldn't get the pace or the power behind the shot to wrong foot Alex Andre Jr. in the opposition goal, who did well to get down low to his left to deny him with a strong hand. But Pools lead at the break thanks to a Joe Gray goal. A beautiful sweeping move from right to left. Cook into Desirue, did really well to dig the ball out of his feet. The ball arrived at David Ferguson on this left-hand side. Low cross into the area and a brilliant finish from Gray for his 7th of the season, his biggest return in terms of goals in his career. And so it continues at the break. Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1, Matty.
And Rob, I mean, as you mentioned, alluded to already there, with the potential for that second goal, we sent you through the footage. It's one of those, as you say, isn't it, where it's marginal, and the offside is the only thing I can think of that the referee's blown for and given the decision for. But in terms of the first half as a whole, it just seems, and it's not very often we've been able to say this, that Pools are just brimming with confidence.
Yeah, and it looks like that in the body language, just in the attitude when they're going forward. Previous times this season we've seen Pools looking to attack and almost just look void of any ideas, Matty. You've seen them this season as well, and especially in that Pool run of form, and at times they didn't look like they knew where to go, how to do it, how to unlock a defence. But now, under Kevin Phillips, who has got a bit of confidence around the team, and of course that comes with winning football matches, but from the players we've spoke to over recent weeks, every single player says it. Anybody you talk to at the club says it, in that he's just lifted the environment completely, and he's got right amongst the players. He's asking questions of them, he's trying to get them to enjoy it again, and that is breeding into what we're seeing on a match day, which is Hartlepool United playing with confidence, attacking with real vigour and just real venom as well. And I don't say it lightly. Times in that first half, Pools looked like they were going to score every time they went forward, and that was just the level of it. Yes, maybe Courtney Senior should have done better early on when he stood on top of the ball in the area. Joe Gray should have done better with his 1v1, especially with his confidence high after getting the early goal inside 7 minutes. But all the attributes and all the positive signs are there. The one caveat I would throw in there, Maddie, and you probably know where I'm going with this, is that they need to make sure when those chances come that they take them, because Woking already in this game have shown that they can test Joel Dixon, and albeit he's done well and stood up to the attack so far, and Pools defensively have had to stand tall in the last sort of dying embers of that first half, but Woking have shown that they can get at Pools. So Kevin Phillips, I'm sure, will be in the dressing room at half-time telling his players exactly that they need to be more clinical in front of goal when they get those opportunities in the second half, because you feel those chances will come.
Rob, thank you very much. It's not easy to do it by yourself, so go and get a break for 10 minutes or so. The brilliant Rob Law down there at Woking, where Hartlepool United lead by 1-0. We'll be back with Rob for second half commentary very shortly indeed. I'll bring you the goal from that first half. The latest from the 5:30 kickoff in the Premier League and the rest of the day's scores from the National League next.
Scott Makin.
So I took my poor wife on a trip trying to prove that Finland exists. Because apparently, according to conspiracy, you land in either Russia or Sweden, and the people pretending to be Finnish are actors. So I did land in Finland, and I have to say it's very difficult to prove a negative. I said to the gentleman stamping my passport, "Where am I?" He looked a bit confused. He said, "You're in Finland." I said, "Am I?" He said, "Yes, you are." And I said, "Can you prove it?" And he said, "No." And then he said, "Why don't you look on your phone, look on the map?" And I said, "Yeah, but who's controlling the map?" Once you go down that rabbit hole, it's very difficult to get out of it.
Scott Makin, weekday afternoons from 2
on BBC Radio Tees. Proud to follow Hartlepool United.
BBC Radio Tees
Sport.
Yes, and half-time in the National League. A late kick-off tonight for Hartlepool United down at the Kingfield Stadium, and Pools lead at the break.
Nice little touch from Desirue, uses his strength to keep hold of it, lays it off to Cook. He's got runners in front of him, and to the left he's got Joe Gray or Ferguson. He lays it into the path of Ferguson, delivers low and buried home. Joe Gray, another one, ice cold, 7 for the campaign. The work was done by Pools in the build-up. Desirue into Cook, who picked out the run of Ferguson, latched onto it, low ball inside the area, and Joe Gray able to bury from inside the 6-yard box. Woking 0, Hartlepool United 1.
Yep, and that's how it stayed until the break. A header from Tom Crawford looked like it had crossed the line, but the referee spotted something, didn't give the goal, and gave the free kick to Woking. We assume for an offside decision, but not 100% on that. So it remains Pools 1-0 to the good at the break down on the outskirts of London for that one. One game ongoing at the minute in the Premier League, and it is Nottingham Forest 2, Newcastle 2 at the City Ground. That is the latest score there. They're deep into added time at the end of the first half. half. In fact, it's just gone half-time as I speak. Nottingham Forest 2, Newcastle United 2 in that one. Let's bring you the results from the earlier 3 o'clock kickoffs in the National League. It finished Altrincham 3, Rochdale 0, Bournemouth 1, Maidenhead 0, Chesterfield 2, Ebbsfleet 2. Cracking result for Ebbsfleet, that against the runaway league leaders. Dagenham and Redbridge 7, bottom of the table Oxford City 1, Dorking 1, Halifax 3, Eastleigh 1, AFC Fylde 2. Southend 0, York City 1, and finally in the National League North earlier it finished Darlington 0, 10-man Alfreton 2.
We're as passionate as you are.
BBC Radio T's Sport.
Those are the latest scores and the results from the National League today. I can tell you with a little under 8 minutes, or a little over 8 minutes to go, I should say, at Twickenham. England have just taken the lead for the first time in the match, actually. England 16, Wales 14. In a very, very tight game in the Six Nations. So England leading by 16 points to 14 at Twickenham, although Wales have just seen one of their players shown a yellow card for a deliberate knock-on. So Wales down to 14 for the remainder of that one, but 8 minutes or so left to go at Twickenham, and it's England 16, Wales 14 in the Six Nations. Right, we're going to look back now at our earlier commentary in the Championship. Because Middlesbrough lost ground in the race for the playoffs and conceded 2 goals in as many minutes as they were beaten 2-1 at home by Bristol City. The defeat leaves Borough 12th in the Championship table. They're now 6 points off the top 6.
Proud to follow the Borough.
BBC Radio T's Sport.
Dickey, central defender. Now he's hit one into the Borough net before from distance for QPR, and this time it's a through ball instead. Glover's off his line and he's going to be beaten. Jason Knight turns on his right foot. Bristol City have sliced right through the heart of the Borough defence. They take the lead. Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 1. Now Hackney, that's a loose pass. Matty James is onto it. To the edge of the area, low shot, it's 2-0. Matty James curls one into the bottom left corner. It flicks off the post. Borough are 2-0 down, and there are boos around the Riverside. Early. Crossing position, low one towards the penalty spot. Azaz left-footed towards the goal and in off the back of Sammy Silvera. It's Silvera's goal, and Middlesbrough belatedly are back in it.
BBC Radio T's Sport.
So Middlesbrough beaten at home by Bristol City this afternoon in the Championship. As I mentioned, that leaves them 12th in the Championship table, 6 points off the playoff places, with a couple of tricky away games to come. Up next for Borough full match commentary on their trip to Deepdale on Wednesday night to take on Preston North End, who are 3 places and 4 points above them. And then the not so small matter of a trip to the league leaders Leicester City next weekend. So a tough couple of games to come for Middlesbrough, and 6 points off the top 6 as things stand. Sunderland are in 6th on 47 points. Middlesbrough in 12th, although they do have a game in hand, 6 points behind them. 7 points between Cardiff City in 14th. The couple of places below Borough, and Sunderland in that final playoff spot. So it's still wide open, but Middlesbrough giving himself a bit more to do today with that defeat against Bristol City. Well, after it, Michael Carrick spoke to our Borough commentator, Mark Drury.
Michael, a game that had got away from you by half-time?
It didn't. I think we were still in it. But yeah, in the end, it looks like that. It was too much to do in the end. It wasn't like us to start the game. It wasn't like us at all, and to concede the goals quickly like we did, give ourselves in the end too much to do. Even I thought throughout the game we still created more than enough to get back into it and to score more goals than we did. So it's a lesson of it's the goals are the goals. You know, whatever. There's things in the goals that we can obviously avoid doing, but it was the overall feeling of the start that we weren't happy with, and I thought the boys showed a lot of character from that point and kept taking the ball, kept trying to make things happen, and in the end, we might have done a little bit better with the chances that we created.
Where does that come from then, that first half feeling, do you think? Because clearly you don't train to do that all week, so what happened?
Are you expecting an answer for that, really?
No, but you know, I mean, what was it? Intensity was lacking, precision? What would you sum it up as?
Yeah, I think it's football, you know. Sometimes things happen. We have a plan, the boys go out with the right intentions, their attitude's good, and things don't come off, and it can hit you kind of quite quickly, and before you know it, it becomes a bit of a struggle. And today, for that period, it was. But I thought the boys gathered themselves particularly well, actually, and just before half time, and then in the second half, to look more like us. And but yeah, it is what it is, you know. We can't keep saying about there's moments and times when we play really good football and then come away with nothing, or we draw the game, or you know, we've obviously got to be better than that, and we will be.
In that second half, you did, as you say, you played better, you knocked at the door. It took so long for the goal to come, didn't it? Do you think if perhaps the Sam Greenwood one had counted, it may have been a different story?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I thought we had other opportunity. I thought we got in the box down the sides really well. A couple of cutbacks just didn't go for us. And that's how it was. But yeah, the Sam one, from what I see, was very, very close. And I don't know, maybe we'll get another apology in the post or through email on that one. But yeah, we still need to do more, obviously, in the game. So I'm not going to blame that.
Has belief taken a bit of a hit at the moment?
Not by the way you see the way we ended the first half and played the second half. I don't think you play that way if belief and confidence is not there.
Two games coming up, obviously, in quick succession this week. 2 games away from home against, obviously, one is probably the champions elect in Leicester. But how big is the next one at Preston for you all? Yeah,
it's the next game. You know, there's loads of football to play for, so let's not make it bigger than it actually is. It's another game. Yeah, Preston are in around us, and we know where we are in the league and where we want to be. But you know, we want to try and get back to winning ways as quickly as possible, and today was a disappointment, but it's not the end of the road by any stretch.
Just a word on selection. You gave Lewis O'Brien a first start today since Watford away, wasn't it, at the end of September, and Johnny Howson on the bench. Is that looking after your captain in a busy season, or is that just you thought Lewis deserved his time?
Yeah, no, it's no big deal. I think Johnny's played loads. Lewis is back fit and he's trained and he's played little bits, and that's what having the squad and good players to be able to do that. So it's no big deal, you know. The boys will all play a part in the games coming up.
And you did mention on Thursday Josh Coburn's had a procedure, I think you said. Where is he fitness wise?
We're hoping to get him back in and around it. He hopefully sometime next week if we can. We'll just have to see how Josh goes. It's a little bit take it step by step at the moment. Any
further update on Matt Crooks and that potential move?
No, not as yet, no.
OK, thank you, Michael.
All right,
cheers.
Thanks.
That is the Borough head coach Michael Carrick speaking to Mark Drury after his side's 2-1 defeat to Bristol City today at the Riverside. Thanks to Roy in the People's Republic of Hartlepool, who says he's enjoying the commentary at the break and the scoreline. Let's head back to Woking then for the second half of Pool's trip there.
Thank you, Matty. We are 17 seconds into this first half. That's very precise, isn't it? But it is still Woking 0, Hartlepool United 1. Pools kicking from left to right in this first half. No changes for either side at the break, so Pools as they were, with Joel Dixon in goal. Back four of Luke Hendry, Luke Waterfall, Tom Parks and David Ferguson. Nicky Featherston, the captain, and Tom Crawford, your two defensive midfielders, with Courtney Senior, Callum Cook and Joe Gray supporting Manny Desirue, who leads the line up front on his own and looking for his 7th goal in 7 games. Woking unchanged as well at the break, with Lewis on the attack for Woking. A shot from distance that moves and swerves, skips up off the turf and into the gloves of Joel Dixon. So let me take you through the Woking side. Alexis Andre Jr. in goal. A back four of Dion Kelly-Evans, Scott Cuthbert, Curtis Edwards and Josh Casey, the captain. The defensive midfield of Rowan Ince. A midfield four of Ricky Corboa, Jaden Luca, Max Deitch and Denon Lewis, with Lewis Walker up front. So, Pools hoping to see this one out, but it feels like there's more goals in this game. If the first half is anything to go by, certainly feels that way. And having watched it again, the goal that wasn't during the break, we can definitely confirm one thing. It did cross the line. Tom Crawford's header, as Manny Dizaruwe does well to fight for it and win it 20 yards out, holding off his man, brings in Cook, back to Featherstone, and now Crawford, the ball at his feet, picks out Hendry, and the ball moves it over to this right-hand side for Courtney Senior. Return pass for Hendry inside the box, right-hand side, tries to put it across the face of goal, but it's easily snuffed out by Cuthbert. And the Cardinals can clear up to the halfway line for Lewis. Controls it on his chest. And Woking create the space with Ince. Out to the right-hand side for Corboa, who looks to run at Ferguson, who needs a little bit of help. Joe Gray's there with him, and Gray does really well to intercept and just deflect that move. It's out for a goal kick. Good defensive cover there from Gray. Did really well. I love that is part of his game. You know, he will be judged in his career by the goals he scores, that is no doubt, but the work ethic and the idea of the team and coming back, doing his defensive duties, putting in the hard yards, brilliant. Callum Cook having his weekly go at Luke Hendry. Luke Hendry, who's right back. The two had a right Barney at Bromley, as Tom Parks is robbed in possession by Lewis, but then Nicky Featherstone does really well to win it back. The home crowd think it was a free kick. Dizaruwe is dispossessed. Nicky Featherstone's just been brilliant again tonight as Crawford wins it. Senior, Dizaruwe tries to keep it. The ball just squirms away from him. Crawford slides in but doesn't get there. Lewis infield to Cuthbert, who looks to try and switch the play out to the right-hand side for Corboa, who does well to control it. Dion Kelly-Evans, it goes back to Deitch inside the centre circle. Squares it to Casey on this near side. Heavy first touch, but nobody near him to really make any interception there. So Deitch, crossfield ball, headed up by Parks. And the offside flag is up because Lewis Walker had strayed beyond the last defender. So 50 minutes on the clock. BBC Radio T Sport, 95 FM, DAB, digital radio, Freeview 722, online via BBC Sounds and the BBC Football website. Thank you for your company in this dark, cold night in Surrey. Pools leading by a goal to nil, thanks to Joe Gray making the difference after just 7 minutes. All the post-match reaction to come will be on our social media pages via X at BBC T Sports. Callum Cook is judged to have fouled Jaden Luca, who's on loan from Luton, born in Peckham. Actually been in the Premier League squad for Luton 4 times this season. Jaden Luca, but took the step down to the National League to get some minutes. He's just 18. I think a lot of him at Luton. And Scott Cuthbert out to the right-hand side. Back it comes to Luca. Just the 1 goal this season for him in a Woking shirt. Now Curtis Edwards stops the ball dead just beyond the halfway line. Out to Deitch. Skipping infield. Pulls with plenty of bodies back, and Woking just overplay it. Run it out for a throw-in. Well, on the bench for Pools going into this second half, Pete Jameson, Manny Onarise, Kieran Wallace, Kieran Burton and Brennan Dickinson. And I suspect we will see Dickinson at some point in this game. Interviewed him in midweek. Really interesting conversation, very open and honest conversation from Dickinson. It's available on our social media pages if you want to go back and have a listen to that. But opens up about his 2 ACL injuries, about being labelled as injury prone, as Cook goes searching for a way to unlock the defence, but sees a ball clattered against his shins and goes out for a goal kick. Yeah, he was talking about how in the summer he was looking for a move and not many people wanted to touch him because they felt he was injury prone and would just break down again. And he said all of that is now added motivation to come to Hartlepool United and really show people and prove a bit of a point that he does still have plenty left to offer. He's on loan from Oldham Athletic until the end of the season. I did ask him if Mark Shelton had given the tip off about Pools. He did say no, it happened so quickly he didn't get the chance to talk to anybody about it. Walking on the attack with Ricky Corbois, who swings his left boot at it, and it goes yards wide, high and wide. So it's a goal kick for Pools. Joel Dixon to take it. And don't forget, after the game, your chance to have your say. Text 81333, start the message with the word tease. You can also email tease.sport@bbc.co.uk. Courtney Senior just denied as he was looking for a way through there. Lewis on the halfway line for Walking. Looks to spread the play, and he does really well there to find Kelly Evans. Joe Gray in front of him. Now to Corbois. Turning away from Ferguson. Ferguson trying to stay with him, and then Joe Gray comes across and Ferguson is able to clear. But it's gone straight to Scott Cuthbert. Now Ron Ince. Well, Pools just need to try and get a hold of the ball here, because Walking are starting to dominate possession as they did at the back end of the first half. Deitch, diagonal ball out to Kelly Evans. Now's Curtis Edwards, back to Kelly Evans, drop of the shoulder. Edwards swings his boot and the ball into the box, and Pools able to clear. Desirue chasing between last two defenders, might get hold of it here, and he does. He's actually had the sponsor on the front of the shirt ripped off Manny Desirue. And he's won a free kick. He just scraps for everything, and he tries to make, no matter what the ball is that comes into him, he just tries to make it stick. Free kick to Pools. Taken short by Crawford to Senior. Back to Crawford once more. On a nice, I was about to say a nice pass from Crawford, but it straight to Ricky Corbois. And now an opportunity for Walking inside the penalty area. Pools, plenty of bodies back to try and deal with it. It goes back out to the right-hand side. Corbois twisting, turning, trying to find a way through. Kelly Evans lifts it up on top of Joel Dixon, who is able to gather relatively easy in the end for Dixon. All huff, no puff at the minute from Walking. And that will suit Pools down to the ground, but at the minute, the one-goal lead does not feel comfortable. And Kevin Phillips, I'm sure, for his heart rate more than anything, will be hoping his side can get a second to just make it a little bit more comfortable. Pools on the attack, down the left-hand side with Cook. Finds Gray. Oh, and it's brought down. Here's Gray. Well after the ball had gone, he had the beating of his man. So Pools with a free kick. It's wide on the left-hand side. I'd say it's about 3 or 4 yards in from the touchline. Featherstone directing traffic. It's a one-man Walking wall. Try and say that 5 times quickly. Featherstone with the free kick. Towards Desirue, doesn't reach him, might fall for Hendry, thinks about the shot, instead cushions it to Waterfall. Cross is initially blocked. Waterfall gets it back from Hendry, has space and time to pick out his pass, and instead balloons it over the crossbar and out for a goal kick. Waterfall, who has had success at this level before with Lincoln City and Grimsby promotions with both of those teams out of the National League. An FA Trophy winner as well in his career. Walking in possession with Deitch, Max Deitch, the son of Sean Deitch. Walking down the right-hand side with Kelly Evans. Now Corboa, his cross on the byline is blocked and rebounds out for a throw-in. Quickly taken. The home fans behind the goal to our left, which is housing Joel Dixon, becoming more and more anxious, more and more hopeful, and encouraged by what they're seeing. Lukia sees his pass go straight out for a goal kick. We're going to see, I think, the first change of the evening. And it's going to be Denon Lewis who goes off. I beg your pardon. Denon Lewis who goes off. He's going to be replaced by Manny Oyeleke. So Oyeleke comes on. And a little bit of reorganisation. Oyeleke looks like he's going to just sit in front of that defence with Curtis Edwards pushed a little bit higher on. Pool's yet to make their first change of the evening. But it does feel like it maybe needs some fresh legs for Pools. As Joe Gray collects possession and then just sees his feet go from underneath him. That allows Walking to pick up possession. And Lukia drifting through the midfield, unopposed, but that wasn't until he ran into a waterfall the size of Luke, who did very well to just dispossess him and clear the danger. An hour gone, Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1 on BBC Radio T Sport. If you want to get in touch with us, at BBC T Sport is where we are on X. You can also get me personally, keep me company this evening, at Rob Law Tees is where you'll find me. If you're watching at home, you're listening at home, however you're taking in the game tonight, thank you to Joff, who says second goal was well over that line. It's an embarrassment. Thank you for that, Joff. And thanks to Glenn, who said, safe journey back, Rob, hopefully with 3 points in the limo. This is the BBC, Glenn. We don't do limos. Not for people like me, anyway. There's Crawford keeps possession in midfield, inside the centre circle. Cook looks to hit a diagonal ball, but, well, he's hit it to absolutely nobody. It goes out for a throw-in. He's allowed one misplaced pass, Callum Cook, this evening, isn't he? He started really well. But just in the second half hasn't quite been able to get on the ball and dictate plays. Walking, look for a diagonal ball up to the edge of the Pool's penalty area. Cuthbert underneath it. Crawford fighting for it and winning it. Desiree turns straight into danger and then gets clattered on his left knee, and that does not look good for Manny Desiree. Everybody in Hartlepool holding their breath. He pulls himself to his feet. Well, you hope that is not the same knee that saw him out for the best part of 7 games earlier this season. Not long since come back. And he's going to continue his Desiree, but he just makes a point to the referee that he's been kicked from pillar to post all game long. And he's still limping pretty heavily, but Walking continue their attack. Lukia into the penalty area, flicked on header by Curtis Edwards that goes wide of the right-hand post of Joel Dixon. 61 minutes on the clock, Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1. And the inquest, well, Tom Parks here is getting into a little bit of a nose-tickling competition with Manny Oyeleke. The two come face to face, and Parks is still trying to make his point. I don't know what that was about, but Parks is absolutely furious. Featherstone, the referee, is just pulling the two captains over. Josh Casey and Featherstone, Parks and Oyeleke, all getting a talking to from the referee, Michael Barlow. And I suppose the one thing from a Pill's perspective, the good thing is that he's not in a rush about it. So Parks gets a slap on the wrist, as does Oyeleke, and we can all get on with it. Brennan Dickinson just returning to the Pill's bench down in front of us. He's been warming up for the last few moments. I suspect we're going to see his introduction very shortly. Goal kick, meanwhile, to be taken by Joel Dixon. He gets serenaded by the home fans. Thanks to Stephen, who's been in touch. He says, straight from watching the Borough to the telly for me, watching pools. I hope with our commentary on though, Stephen, of course. That's the way to do it. Walking in possession. It's been a much quieter second half, that is for certain, given the way the first 45 went, with goals that were chalked off. Oh, nice turn there by Lewis Walker, who then went down theatrically, but nothing given from the referee, and Pools look to try and counter. Gray into Cook, drifting out to the left-hand side in front of the travelling Poolies, and then gives it away. Cook. Luca finds Walker once more, drifting infield. He's got Edwards to his left. He finds him now. Edwards tries to get it onto his right foot, crossing to the penalty area. Ferguson lets it go over his head. That was confident defending. Just ducked underneath it. He had a little look over his shoulder to see where the defender was and let it go out for a goal kick. That was brave. Well, just keeping you across things in the world of football. The late kickoff is currently Nottingham Forest 2, Newcastle 2. As things stand, Bruno Guimaraes and hold that thought, because Pools almost with Manny Desirue sneaking to pick the pocket of the walking man, but the Cardinals able to clear it up to the halfway line. It's almost been somewhat of a training exercise this second half, with Walking having plenty of possession and Pools putting everyone behind the ball and just trying to soak up the pressure. I dare say it's a brave game plan. Brennan Dickinson getting ready to come on, but the change won't be made just yet. Oyeleke inside the centre circle, goes down the centre of the pitch for Lewis Walker. Now to Cuthbert. He's got Casey to his left. He finds him, the walking captain. And Josh Casey having his shirt pulled there by Courtney Senior. Nothing given from the ref though, as Cook does well to win possession midway inside his own half. He's got no runners up the field. He somehow manages to keep hold of it and then was fouled, and Callum Cook was too busy. He was too busy expressing his frustrations that his teammates weren't accelerating up the pitch that he almost got his pocket picked. But Pools on the attack. Ferguson into Joe Gray, wide on the left-hand side, stands his man up, skips inside the area, tries to find Desirue, turns inside the box and then just gets it taken off his toes at the vital moment. Desirue about to pull the trigger, tried to turn into space and instead turned into a red and white shirt. Corboa being watched closely by Luke Hendry, and the referee gives a free kick for a foul on Corboa. Woking have taken it quickly. The cheers you heard in the background there probably tell you a lot about what the Woking fans think of the referee Michael Barlow this evening under the floodlights. Pools coming into this, having won 3 of the last 4. Walking 2 wins in 8, but those 2 wins in the last 3. On the attack at the byline, low cross to the front post, drops inside the area, back to the 18-yard line. Josh Casey picks it up. Oyeleke dancing inside the box and can't find a way through. He is denied. But Woking have a corner. Just their 3rd of the game. Oh, and it's a corner taken quickly that caught absolutely everybody out there. A header from the edge of the box was comfortably saved in the end by Dixon. But even the Woking players weren't expecting that. As Michael Doyle, the opposition manager, is getting ready to make changes. Pools have their own substitutions ready to come on. As Joel Dixon's clearance drops straight out of play for a throw. Well, chance to make the changes now. And the first change is going to be Brennan Dickinson, who comes on to replace Courtney Senior. And Senior's fought well and shown little glimpses here and there, and none more so than right at the start of the game when, from a goal kick, had the run on his marker, broke through inside the box, then stood on top of the ball and fell to the turf. Dickinson comes on to replace him, having arrived last Wednesday from Oldham on loan till the end of the season. Said it's nice to feel wanted again after he's deemed surplus to requirements at Oldham. His first bit of action is to outmuscle his man, win possession, but was offside according to the linesman on the near side. So 69 minutes on the clock. Woking 0, Pools 1 if you're just joining us on BBC Radio T Sport with me, Rob Law, this evening. Diagonal ball for Woking on the attack with Kelly Evans. Now Luca rolls his studs across the top of the ball. Back to Oyeleke. Now Cuthbert tries to find Luca, but that is intercepted by Ferguson and out for a throw-in. Quickly taken by the home side. Luca is starting to get on the ball more and more. He's in possession now. Tries a 1-2 with Ince. Instead, goes back to Edwards. Big deep cross into the area, headed away by Luke Hendry. Onarise is the only player further up the pitch who wins it, keeps hold of it, and then is fouled. And Onarise goes down again, holding his left knee. And Onarise takes a seat on the turf. I think he's going to be all right to continue. His boot came off. I think, in fact, a bit of gamesmanship there. I think Desirue kicked his boot off just to try and disrupt the momentum that Woking are trying to build. But Woking have Josh Casey, their captain, down also after tangling with Desirue and coming off worse for wear. It's going to be a free kick to Pools. Both men back on their feet. So Joel Dixon coming right out of his goal to take this one, just away to our left-hand side as we're watching this. Pools kicking from left to right in this second half. Dixon all in yellow. And looks up the top end of the pitch for Desirue. Instead it goes towards Dickinson, who gets shoved off the field. But the linesman instead signals for a Woking throw. More subs being readied by the home side. Can see Paul Osu getting ready to perhaps come on, just being given his bright orange training bib, as Curtis Edwards has the ball on the halfway line. Goes back to Cuthbert through the centre of the pitch, picked out. And Woking look to try and make inroads down the right-hand side, but they overplay it, and Pools right back to the byline with Joel Dixon, who completes the clearance. Just nobody up the top end of the pitch for Pools. Everybody sitting so deep. And Kevin Phillips looking more and more nervous in the Pools technical area. Well, for all Pools' early dominance in the first half and looking like they could score at will. I mean, they've barely had a kick in the second 45. It's been all walking. And there's still just under 20 minutes plus stoppage time left to play. Luca looks for a deep cross straight down the throat of Joel Dixon, who comes out on top of the penalty spot to claim it. And then just gets some words of advice and encouragement from Luke Waterfall. Well, Dixon puts the ball down on the turf and instead decides to punt long up towards Desiree, who's having his shirt pulled. Nothing given from the referee. Ends up down on the floor and walking clear into the Pools half of play. Waterfall wins it in the air. Sees it go out for a throw-in right down in front of me. Josh Casey takes it infield to Edwards. Spreads the play. Now Cuthbert crossing the halfway line, out to the right-hand side for Kelly Evans. Now Oyeleke goes past Cook. It doesn't go past Crawford. And now Pools look to accelerate. Cook has got Desiree to his right. It's his only option. It might be the only option he needs. It's a through ball to Desiree, but out comes Alexis Andre Jr. Did really well, quick off his line to gather that, and then a tangle with Brennan Dickinson down in front of us. And the referee is going to hold up play for a talking to for Dickinson. And Dickinson, well, is going to get a yellow card. I would say that is harsh. And a change to be made by Woking as Paul Osu comes on to replace Ricky Corboa. I suspect Pools will be slightly relieved at that, because Ricky Corboa has been one of the main linchpins of the Woking attack. Him and Dion Kelly Evans, who joined from National League side Banbury United. He's an ex-Coventry, played League 1, League 2 with Coventry. Dion Kelly Evans, but has looked very comfortable this evening. Oyeleke in possession midway inside the Pools half. That pass is rebounding off Cook out to the right hand side. Luca dispossessed by Ferguson, who just thumps it away, but it's aimless from Ferguson. And now Rowan Ince exchanging passes with Luca. Michael Doyle out in front of us, waving, imploring his team on. Ball floated into the area, goes over the top of Osu and out for a Pools goal kick. As Luke Waterfall just stretching out his hamstrings. And we'll get a little bit of a slap on the wrist from the referee, Michael Barlow, for good measure, as Newcastle have taken the lead against Nottingham Forest. It's Forest 2, Newcastle 3. Bruno Guimaraes with his second of the evening. Highlights of which you'll be able to catch on Match of the Day on BBC One tonight from 10:25 with Mark Chapman and co. Dickinson winning the ball for Pools. Right hand side. Tries to pick out Desiree. Might get a second chance at it. Cleared by Woking. Only as far as Curtis Edwards. Deep inside his own half, and now to Cuthbert. Oyeleke out to this left hand side for Casey. 15 minutes left to play. Woking 0, Hartlepool United 1, as Woking run the ball out of play for a throw-in deep inside their own half. Luke Hendry to take it. Goes down the line. Might fall for Featherstone, can't get on the end of it. And the red and white shirts have it once more. Featherstone judged to have fouled his man. Free kick to the home side. Casey just making sure Crawford keeps his distance and takes it short. Edwards with a crossfield ball, asking a lot of Kelly Evans there, but he does make something of it. Back to Cuthbert. Now Oyeleke. Pools have every shirt behind the ball. Woking have almost every red and white shirt flooded forward. Oh, nice move to Luca, edge of the area, trying to wriggle his way through. Pools have a wall in front of them. They're trying to find the key to unlock it, and good defensive work by Luke Hendry. But again, there's no out for Pools. They're sat so deep, they're inviting the pressure on. Osu, dispossessed by Crawford, and out into touch for a throw-in. Taken quickly again. Edwards. I mean, Pools are defending really well. They're holding their shape, they're standing their ground, they're fighting for it, they're scrapping for it. But they're inviting that pressure on. 77 minutes on the clock. Luca tries to shift it onto his right foot. Osu does well to hold it up. Back to Luca. Comes out to this left-hand side for Casey. Now Edwards didn't watch his six, and Manny Desirue was bearing down on him. But the cross in the penalty area from Luca. Cleared by Pools, only as far as Edwards. Drifting out to the left. Now to Casey at the byline. Delivered into the box. Does it hit a hand? No, says the referee. Luca onto his left foot through a crowd of bodies. Takes a deflection. And out for a corner. Walking's fourth of the game. They're mounting up. In fact, no, it's not a corner. It's a goal kick. I beg your pardon. Well, final substitution sees Rowan Ince score off. And Charlie Kendall comes on to replace him. So 3 changes for Michael Doyle. Just the one from Kevin Phillips so far, with Brennan Dickinson coming on to replace Courtney Senior. Long ball over the top that Pools have to be alive to. It comes all the way through to Joel Dixon, who just collects it inside his 6-yard area for safekeeping. Joel Dixon just tossing the ball down to launch it long into the 80th minute. Desirue wins the flick on it, almost reaches Dickinson, but Scott Cuthbert is there to give it back to his goalkeeper, and then from one end of the pitch to the other it goes, and Joel Dixon allows the ball to nestle on the byline before he just gathers it and cradles it like a newborn baby. Keep hold of it for a little while longer, Joel. I suspect the Pools fans are thinking. He's waving his team up the pitch, and they oblige. Long it goes from Dixon. The second ball swept up by Walking. Edwards, starting to see a lot of the ball in this second half, picks out Scott Cuthbert, the former Celtic man. Out to the right-hand side for Kelly Evans. And now Luca. Really like the look of Luca, the Luton loanee. But now an opportunity for Charlie Kendall. Is right at the byline, cuts it back across the face of goal, but it's offside. And Pools have the free kick. So we're into the final 10 minutes. A Joe Gray goal after 7 is the only thing separating the two sides at present. A Tom Crawford header that looked for all the world like it crossed the line, but was chalked off for offside, apparently. And after a bright first 45, Walking have dominated the second half in possession without really asking an awful lot of questions of Joel Dixon in the Pools goal. And a chance for them to have a spell in possession now with Ferguson. And Pools have actually put the ball out of play because Walking had a man down there. And Featherstone is making the point that he put it out of play because there was a man down, and Walking done the right thing and thrown the ball back to Hartlepool United, who will restart with goalkeeper Joel Dixon. Right-footed, goes right through the centre of the pitch, looking for Brennan Dickinson, who does well to win it with his head on the floor, but was literally lying on his back and won the ball with his head. I mean, that takes some doing. But Walking have it back at the base of the defence. Pools squeezing up the pitch with Desirue, back pass that goes goalwards towards Alexis Andre Jr., who had to just adjust his footing very quickly there. Now Oyeleke, Pools standing off here. Cook trying to close down. Edwards The ball out to the left-hand side. Casey stops it on the touchline. Trying to find Osu, who drifts past Hendry. Might get a second opportunity at it. Hendry falls on top of him. The referee has not blown his whistle. We're still playing, and Pools win it. Crawford gets hold of it. Desirue trying to hold it up, but he's fighting and scrapping to hold on to it, and he does. He did really well, Desirue. Now Cook has eyes in the back of his head, does Callum Cook at moments, and he needed them there. Finds Featherstone, out to Ferguson. 82 minutes on the clock. Now Joe Gray, chance for him to stretch his legs in this second half. An overlapping run from Ferguson. Pools find him now at the corner flag, and Ferguson does well to win the corner. Just Hartlepool United's second of the game. 7 minutes left to play. Woking 0, Pools 1. And Kevin Phillips' side with a corner. Well, this will just soak up some vital time, won't it? To stretch out this corner incoming from Pools. Featherstone right to the front post, easily cleared, only as far as Cook thinks about the shot and gives it to Parks. Back to Cook outside the area. Now to Featherstone, occupying the touchline on the left-hand side. Back down the line to Cook, then floats one into the back post towards Waterfall. Gets a touch on it. It comes all the way through and out for a Woking throw parallel with their own penalty area. And taken very, very quickly. Woking, you get the impression, a feeling that it is now or never if they're to get something from this game. 3 wins from the last 2 for Woking. They won last time out here just on Tuesday night against Oxford City. That was only their 3rd home win of the campaign. They were 8th at one stage on a 4-game unbeaten run when these two sides met earlier this season. Woking won 2-0 that afternoon at the Suit Direct. Since then, it's fair to say the form has dropped right off, slipped down to 20th, 1 point and a place above the relegation zone. A win over bottom side of Oxford City, as I say, in midweek, moved them out of the drop zone. Their first home win since August, that was. And at the minute, they're staring defeat in the face because Pools have come here, scored early through Joe Gray, and are doing well to keep hold of it in the second half and defend well, keep their shape well, and manage the game through to its conclusion. I'm not going to mention the thing about clean sheets either. I'm not going to do it. Not yet, at least. Diagonal ball, looking for Kelly Evans. Does really well to make something of that. Now to Luca. Looks to deliver into the box. Easily cleared by Waterfall. Now Desirue has willing runners around him. Does he? He's fouled by Oyeleke, and Pools have a free kick with 5 minutes to go deep inside their own half. Well, the travelling poolies so far, for them, if they can see this out, it'll be well worth that journey. Tom Parks to take this free kick from inside the centre circle. He gives a signal to the forward players, and towards Desirue it goes and bounces all the way out for a throw-in. So usually around this sort of stage I ask our summariser for your BBC Radio T Sport Man of the Match, but as I don't have a summariser today, if you want to nominate your BBC Radio T Sport Man of the Match, then by all means you can text us 81333, start the message with the word T's. You can find us on X at BBC T Sport. If you've been listening along tonight, if you've been watching us on the telly or watching the game on the telly with us playing over the top, which is the right way to do it, let's be honest, then by all means get in touch at BBC T Sport on social media or text 81333 and start the message with the word T's as Pools win a free kick by their own corner flag. 3.5 of the 90 left to play on your BBC Radio T Sport. As Joel Dixon prepares to take this free kick. Long it goes, up towards Desiree, just gets out muscled for a moment there. Desiree, well, I was about to say did really well to hold his man off there, but is then judged to be offside, so figure that one out. Walking in possession, looking to try and find an equaliser. Casey, the captain, delivers into the box, comes back to Edwards. Now Lewis. Oh, and a good sliding challenge from Cook to dispossess him, and Featherstone all the way back to Joel Dixon, who completes the clearance into the opposition half. But Pools have everybody inside their own half and sitting so deep. I suspect Kevin Phillips is tearing his hair out. And he's got good hair as well. He shouldn't want to do that. Diagonal ball looking for Casey, overhit. And out for a Pools goal kick. And that has been the story of the game. For all the possession that Woking have had, they've just been really sloppy with it when it's counted towards the final third. As soon as it got to the edge of the Pools box, they just haven't been able to find a way through. Partly because of their own limitations, but also down to Hartlepool United's just dogged defensive work. Luke Waterfall barking out instructions to his backline as Manny Desiree does well to win the header from the goal kick. Joe Gray chasing down a loose ball that's swept away by Kelly Evans. Waterfall underneath the clearance into the Pools half. Brendan Dickinson tries to keep hold of it and tries to win it, but Edwards spreads the play out to the right hand side. Luca tangles with Ferguson, and Ferguson comes out on top. Cook does really well to win it and finds Dickinson in towards Crawford. Back to Cook. That was such a neat passage of play between those three. And then Luke Hendry, well, thumps the ball straight into the press box. There's your Valentine's Day present. Oyeleke looks to switch the ball out to the right-hand side for Kelly Evans, and he gets on the end of it as well. Cross is delivered and blocked by Ferguson. Behind for a corner to the home side with 89 minutes on the clock. Woking's fifth corner of the evening. There's 30 seconds of the 90 left to play. Woking looking for an equaliser, and the referee wants to have a word with Tom Crawford, and I think it's Max Deitch. The pair getting a stern talking to. It's fair to say Max Deitch looks nothing like his dad. I dare say he's probably thankful of that. That might be me being cruel. Corner for Woking. Bounces all across the face of goal and all the way through to the near side. Kept in by Casey. Closed down by Dickinson. Casey goes past him. Sliding challenge from Cook. Does really well there to get... Oh, and then Joe Gray's given it away. Cross into the box to the back post. Saved by Dickinson. And hammered in. Lewis Walker in the 90th minute has snatched a point for Woking. Hartlepool United's defensive resistance has finally fallen. It was hammered home by Lewis Walker. It clattered in off the crossbar. A goalmouth scramble. Dixon did really well to save it initially, but there was nothing he could do about the follow-up that was powered into the back of the net. Hartlepool United have led this game for 87 minutes. And they've conceded in the 91st. It's 1-1. Wild celebrations from Woking. 5 minutes of stoppage time. Hartlepool United need to get a hold of themselves here, because Woking absolutely pouring forward. Kelly Evans crossing the box again. Pools need to get it clear, and Dickinson does. Anywhere will do at present. Well, you can't say that hasn't been coming in the second half, because Pools have just invited the pressure on at times. And albeit Woking haven't asked an awful lot of questions of Joe Dixon in the second 45, they're certainly putting the pressure on now. Defensive clearance from Crawford, but it's all just aimless at the minute for Pools. Oyeleke in possession. 2.5 minutes left to play at the 5 minutes of stoppage time. Kelly Evans finds Luca, has space wide on the right hand side, trying to get inside the box. His cross is blocked. The second follow-up cross is also blocked. Cook doesn't get there, but has got a throw in for his efforts. Well, the National League, eh? I mean, it is a bonkers league. And Michael Doyle down on his knees celebrating when that ball hit the back of the net. Hartlepool United and Kevin Phillips will be left frustrated to not leave here with 3 points. But like I say, the second 45, they've sat so deep, it's just given Woking that confidence that they can eventually get something. And so it is proven as Tom Parks wins a throw-in. We have 1.5 minutes left to play. Don't forget all the post-match reaction to come with Matty Nixon following the full-time whistle. I suspect it will be quite a quick turnaround. We're off air at 8 o'clock. So if we don't get a chance to play out the post-match reaction, you'll find it on our social media pages at BBCT Sport. Woking building another attack with Osu, who goes down, fouled by Luke Hendry, and it is a free kick to the home side. "50 seconds left to play. It's one apiece, and Woking have a free kick in an inviting position. It's about 10-15 yards in from the touchline on this near side. It's going to be Curtis Edwards to take it. The man born in Middlesbrough, came through the Borough Academy at the age of 12, had a trial at Hartlepool United. He delivers it into the area, flat trajectory. It was a poor delivery in the end, and Pool's able to clear with Joe Gray into the opposition half. 5 minutes have elapsed. Remember, it's a minimum of 5. Pools have the ball at their feet. They go all the way back to Joe Dixon, who booms the ball clear deep into the opposition half. Featherstone finds Crawford inside the centre circle. Is there one last Pools attack? Ferguson driving forward down the left-hand side. Lays it off. They couldn't. Could they? Cross it towards Desirue, whose header goes over the crossbar. You would suspect that will be that. But still we play. Woking running the ball up this near side of the pitch. Luke Hendry does well to intercept, and Woking have a throw. Long they go down the line. Looking for Charlie Kendall. The referee blows a full-time whistle. It ends Woking 1, Hartlepool United 1. Pools taking the lead early on through Joe Gray after some brilliant build-up with Callum Cook, Manny Desirue, and the cross from Ferguson. A beautiful deft touch by Gray to get it past Andre Jr. in the opposition goal. And Pools in that first 45 looked like they could have scored at will, but the second 45 was very much a different story, with Pools sitting off Woking. Their confidence grew and grew, and eventually, for all their possession, they finally got a goal right at the death. It came in the 91st minute. Lewis Walker as a cross came into the penalty area. The initial shot was saved at point-blank range from Joel Dixon. It fell to the feet of Walker, who absolutely thundered the ball into the goal off the crossbar to cue wild celebrations from the home side. Pools have to settle for a point, and Kevin Phillips, I imagine, will have his frustrations after that, when they had so many opportunities in the first 45, and a Crawford goal that crossed the line but was chalked off for what seemed to be offside. That in itself is a big talking point, but whichever way you slice it, however you look at it, when the ink dries in the morning, it will read Walking 1, Hartlepool United 1, Matty.
And Rob, as gutting as that is, with it coming so late, watching the footage on the TV channel that's showed the game tonight and listening to yourself down on the outskirts of London, does that, on reflection, seem as if it is a fair result?
It's hard. I mean, you would say, with the way the game panned out, yes. But I would say that the goal that never was, the Crawford header that crossed the line, I mean, you know, you look at the replays, to me, he looks onside, Crawford. There's a defender there with him. It's really fine, and if it is offside, I mean, you're talking the width of a shoelace offside. So perhaps with that, Pools may feel hard done by, that they should have actually been 2-0 up at one stage, but that second 45, they did just sit off way too much and way too early as well, that they will, I'm sure, have their frustrations about, Kevin Phillips will have his frustrations about the way that second half panned out, because when they attacked, when they went for it, Pools, in the first half, they looked like they could have caused so many problems for Walking at the back. And this is a team similar to Pools that have struggled defensively throughout the season, but then just weren't able to replicate that in the second 45. So, look, on the balance of play, a point is probably fair. Pools dominated the first half, Walking dominated the second half. But that contentious goal that never was by Tom Crawford, I'm sure will probably leave a bit of a sour taste in the mouth.
Rob, I won't keep you for any longer. Get yourself off to chat to the Pools head coach, Kevin Phillips. Thanks again for another brilliant commentary on your Todd as well. It's never easy, that, Rob. So we appreciate you.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
That is Rob Lauer, Hartlepool United commentator down at the Kingfield Stadium, as Pools are denied at the death by a late equaliser from the home side to cancel out that Joe Gray opener down at Walking. We will give you let you hear the commentary of the goals, bring you the full times from elsewhere in the National League today, and the full time from the 5:30 kickoff in the Premier League after this.
On BBC iPlayer.
Welcome to my big show!
Be ready for the unexpected.
Who would like to play Send to All?
With big stars,
AJ Adudu, Alison Hammond, Zara Larson,
big laughs, and big surprises.
It is now time to play the Midnight Game Show!
The new series of Michael McIntyre's Big Show.
What about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Proud to follow Hartlepool United.
BBC Radio T's
Sport.
Well, it looked all the world as if Hartlepool United were heading for a third straight win in the National League, but they were pegged back at the death down at Walking.
Nice little touch from Dizaruwe, uses his strength to keep hold of it, lays it off to Cook. He's got runners in front of him, and to the left he's got Joe Gray or Ferguson. He lays it into the path of Ferguson, delivers low and buried home. Joe Gray, another one. Ice cold, 7 for the campaign. The work was done by Pools in the build-up. Dizaruwe into Cook, who picked out the run of Ferguson, latched onto it, low ball inside the area, and Joe Gray able to bury from inside the 6-yard box. Walking 0, Hartlepool United 1. Oh, and then Joe Gray's given it away. Cross into the box to the back post. Saved by Dickinson and hammered in. Lewis Walker in the 90th minute has snatched a point for Woking. Hartlepool United's defensive resistance has finally fallen. It was hammered home by Lewis Walker. It clattered in off the crossbar. A goalmouth scramble. Dixon did really well to save it initially, but there was nothing he could do about the follow-up that was powered into the back of the net. Hartlepool United have led this game for 87 minutes and they've conceded in the 91st. It's 1-1.